Hello everyone, in this new episode of Soulful Talks Podcast, I'm Margo Sealskin. Today I have two charming guests with me,
and I'm
Margarita Kartysheva and Mariya Femma Creativa, that you already have seen in another podcast. So, we're continuing the topic of stories that frame realities, now on a very amazing, unique example of a movie that we already made a teaser about on the previous podcast, the movie that we created all together. And let's see if that movie framed our realities. This is a very exciting episode for us because when we want to talk about our project that's, I'd say, still not very known to the world. It's in the process of finding its places, finding its spaces, and it's a very innovative kind of a movie that combines soul and innovations, as we came to conclude with Mariya when I was talking to her about it. But today it's really emotional for us to talk about it because it's such a big project and it's so different and polyphacetic that I even don't find the right words how to start talking about it. I just really wanted to bring this forward to you and to share it with the world in this podcast. So there will be music from that movie sounding in the background. It's not yet available to watch anywhere. Actually, I will ask my dear women today why, because it's a thing to talk about. And we are just inviting you to touch a little bit that project, to feel it. And I'm sure soon we will create ways and paths for the world to get to know that amazing work of art. So, we're talking about why are you here, audiovisual experience, innovative movie, dialogue with your inner creator, dialogue with your soul. That how was it born? What did it all begin with? Who wants to start?
Well, I can start. Hello, everybody. My name is Margarita Kartysheva, and I'm the director of this movie. And here we have our actress and the main vector of the film is
the only one.
Mariya Femma. Can I say like
yes.
this? Our Femma Creativa. So, how it was born? Maybe you can start with this because that was an impulse from you. That one day you came to me with an impulse to create a promo video about your art, your work, and your life. This is how, at least, I felt it at the moment.
Well, I guess the movie for me was the main impulse was that, okay, it's time to bring it out. It's time to everything that I have inside, everything that I've been working with needs to go out there. So I came to you with this actually. So let's do a move. I think I just said let's do a short something.
Yeah, 3 minutes it was said. Yeah, I remembered 5 minutes.
5 minutes to bring it out there, and we started to frame, and it was somehow very natural and very fast. Like next day we had 3 locations, and 3 parts that were so natural and obvious, and it felt like the movie is not that we are not actually creating the movie. Maybe it's the movie who is creating us,
right?
Or through us.
Movie that's framing you. But first of all, what is it about? Like in 5 words, for you.
In 5 words.
It's why are you
a shortcut
here
to the meaning of the movie? That's a shortcut. The title is a shortcut. Like, why are you here? But it's like an immersion, and you're the only actress. So, what is happening to you for the movie? what is going on? You're not interacting with anybody else. You're the only actress. What are you interacting with?
There are some elements that are interacting with her.
Yeah.
That's also very interesting how this merge is realized, like how she interacts with the world, how she goes through her past, and how the world interacts with you. And it's like, beautiful experience.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful inner dialogue with a lot of spaces that you get into, some kind of a space of your soul, then a space of your lineage and your ancestors, women lineage. Then there are spaces of conversation with your spirit, with your inner voices. It's all very metaphorical, and kind of like as I felt because I entered the movie in the last part when there was time to bring in music, and there was just one kind of a monologue dialogue between inner voices and the actress Mariya, Alice in the movie, right? So I was invited in the last part to channel the sound, and I was given like whole freedom there. That's what I loved a lot, to just channel, and there were like a lot of ancestral, powerful earth and music voicings. So there was also a space of mystery in it with sound design. So I lived the story from my own perspective, and like now I'm like really asking to see what were your perspectives. What was your perspective of living this story as a director?
Yeah.
You're creating all the...
I think when we were starting doing this, we didn't know what we were creating. We just were feeling our impulses and true impulses, and we were following it. And it was very organic. And it was really a flow of creativity, the flow of creation, and we really trust each other. That was a creation of trust. And from this, after we finished filming, there was like different stages of creating it. We were creating kind of a storyline. It wasn't limited, it wasn't scripted. It was just like always evolving and feeling in the moment what is going next. And it was all about the flow, and we really trust that flow. So we go into this, we go into the unknown to create this. And we were crystallizing these processes that we shot during the montage, during the editing, and trying to see what we filmed. And also during the dialogue part, what was, for me, was a very special process.
It came later, the dialogue, after you shot everything.
Yes, the dialogue and the text, it kind of, I guess, structured all the storyline.
No, actually no, because you structured all the
that's what
storyline with the visuals.
With the visual,
That's true. With the editing. So we had this whole flow that was pretty
How did it happen,
long flow.
How did you choose? I want to go there, I want to film this, that dress, what's the story? How?
It was, I don't know, I chose the meaningful places for me in Barcelona. So, and the first was the labyrinth, the park labyrinth. So, and the second one was Volcanoes of Olot. So the third one. And then in between, we needed an inner space, which was also obvious in that moment because it was very much in the context of where we were, of what we were doing.
Because it's powerful that the movie doesn't seem like it's just improvisedly shot. You can feel there is a kind of as if there was like a playwright behind it, right? It feels like really very professionally written and created movie. It's not just like, oh, I'm shooting in the flow, whatever. I mean, you can feel there is
a flow is a very structured thing.
Yeah.
It's not just something chaotic. It just, this script was energetically born. And it's a little bit different if you create it from your mind. So this script was made from like energetic script because the process of creating of the script, of the storyline came from her inner space.
And you were...
And we were like kind of in the energetic sessions all the time, trying to mold this sculpture. Like, okay, we have all this background, we have all this beautiful experience of your past lives, of your life right now. What can we do with this? And what is like, how we are going to play with these things? That was, for us, it was like such a inspiring experience and joyful. We were like kids playing all the time, fully. And that was the pure creation that really, really gave us so much energy just to make this film, like two of us, and like we had help, but we didn't have like a huge team of people around us. But we had a lot of energy that was coming from this project through us, so that's why we could really finish it.
So basically, the space of the movie is the heroine, Mariya, Alice, finding herself on Earth in different places, in different spaces, in different time moments. And there is something unveiling in that process. There is a space for feeling, there is a space for reading from those enigmatic dialogue texts that are minimal. There is a lot of space to feel the music and dive into sensations, so it's more like a sensorial journey. But at the same time, there is so much to it, right, inside each scene. So we decided further on together to create like an experience around that. So people can dive into the movie, not just like to contemplate some audiovisual aesthetics, but to actually interact with that huge space for the subconsciousness, for the mind, for the imagination, for the spiritual realm, you know, on other planes where you can connect, and to connect with the sound. That's a healing journey as well. So we created kind of an experience that helps you to have your keys into that space, because it's not easy to, you know, enter all the depth, all the enigmas of the movie, right?
Yeah, I can say that I think this movie was from the beginning is about interactions. During the filming process, during the editing, during this dialogue process, it was always some interactivity in this movie. So it was in the core of this movie. That it's not just like film, like a normal film, how we used to it. So you watch it and that's it. No. This is an experience, an audiovisual experience, how we managed to name it. It was also not very easy to understand what we created, so we were trying to analyze it afterwards. And what I wanted to say is, when we're trying to describe this project, it can look like very chaotic. Yes, of course, we have a storyline of a cosmic Alice that is on her path of investigating her like creativity, I would say, like creative path.
Creative potential. Yes.
Creative potential and how it's unveiled in different steps.
Searching for meanings behind.
Yeah, but this is kind of all very vague definitions, if you would say. Why is it so? It's because this movie is a meta movie, how I say, or how you say, it's an algorithm of creative process. And what is a meta movie? It's something, or meta storytelling is something that can be aligned with different themes and different topics. So when you watch it, depending from which angle you're entering this movie, which question you have inside yourself, you will look different movies. And this that's why it can feel like very chaotic, very vague, but if you put the precise angle, it will be the precise movie you're watching. And this is the beauty of this movie, that you can watch like many movies at the same time.
Yeah.
For example, I watched this movie, I don't know how many times. Probably I should count it, but I think around, maybe around, maybe 60 or something, or maybe a little bit more if we are counting the editing process. And each time, it's a different movie for me.
Yeah.
And this is where I've done other short movies, and I hadn't had this experience before, because it's a very special experience. Each time you're watching it, you're each time in different atmosphere. You're seeing different cosmic alleys, doing different things, and I think this is the magic. The main magic of this movie is about this. It's about your dialogue with the movie,
And that's actually the answer of why we don't just put it out there. Because this movie is to be guided. This movie is an experience. This movie is to be facilitated. And this movie, someone needs to bring you to this entry point. And we have the keys. We created different games around it. We created different entry points, and once you get yours, but you really need to connect to it, then you dive into the space, because this movie is a space to explore, but it's your space. It's your inner space that you are to explore. It's your inner space that you are to recognize. It will trigger something that needs to be triggered in the moment exactly for you. It will, so this dialogue and the movie is facilitated by a dialogue of Cosmic Alice and the voice, and then it's your dialogue with the voice. Where does this voice come from? You will never know where does this voice actually come from. Are these your ancestors speaking? Is it the God speaking to you? Is it, I don't know, a little someone inside of you speaking? Is it some myth from collective unconscious field is speaking to you? It's all in there, and there are also plenty of stories that are in there. So we actually pre-prepared archetypal spaces. So there were 3 archetypal spaces, but then there is more to it, because each element and each prop can guide you as far as you're capable of going to, and as far as it's relevant to you in the moment.
Exactly. It's actually an interesting thing about this movie is that each person who watches it says oh, that's exactly what is happening in my life right now. This movie is about me and my life and my situation. And I just smile and say, oh yes, sure. And this movie tells the same story, that it's his story or her story to everybody who is looking at it. And this is so special, I think, about it. And yes, and I also wanted to mention the audio part of this, the sound part, the magic of sound. As for me, it was when we added your sound, it created, the space became even bigger. This is how I felt. And spacious. It became much more spacious as we added sound, and that's really helped people to get into this trance and to get into their space and to get into their space of the heart, where they really can enter the movie, enter their dialogue with themselves, inner selves, and speak with yourself honestly and see things. And that was a really tuning the people inside it.
Yeah, that's all pretty innovative. Recording the sound design, the soundtrack of the movie in the flow. I was watching
in one take, actually.
I was watching it for the second time, and I said I'm gonna just watch and record everything. I feel. So
that's
for
something
me, it's
unique. When Margo told us, that was an interesting reaction. My reaction when she told us, "Oh, I made it in one take." It's what? Really? Is it somehow possible to make a soundtrack of a movie in one take? And this is, I understood, of course, this is a new type of a movie experience, a visual experience. this is a new type of creation. Of course, it's possible.
Yeah.
Of
And
course.
it was the same
in the
with
flow.
the text, no? Because
The
when
same-
you told me
yeah.
like, now you need, so now we have the editing, like the first part and the second part are very clear. The third part needs to
Blurry.
be, is a bit blurry now. So now we need the text. And I was like, we need what? Because I didn't expect that I would need to create the text. Actually, so I sat down with the movie and I thought like, okay, let's try. So I opened it and I started writing, and it went all in one flow. And especially the third part was the mystery for me, because it was the things that were coming. I was like, what is this? Like, what is that? Why?
What is that I'm writing?
What is that I'm writing? Yes, and that was a very special experience for me, of something like really going through me. Something that maybe was like, yes, it was my impulse, but I think inside of me I also have, because I am telling the story of other people as a job. So meaning that all these stories combined, and that was just the start actually. By that time, they came up together to facilitate, to create this space, for people to have the space where they can find themselves.
So what we have here is like a very layered journey that can be guided, that can be on a festival, that can be on a movie, like presentation, that can be within some kind of a festival experience for people to
Birthday party.
come in with an intention, get into meditation, then they get their messages with actually texts from the movie that they take in their message. Then they enter the movie, they watch it, they have an experience, conversation, then there can be a circle of sharing. So that's an experience that was born, and we're sharing it because we really want to bring it to the world. We've been doing more like private screenings in Barcelona, but we really want to bring this experience more further. Maybe someone hears it and that resonates, and you want to collaborate with us or invite us anywhere. So we're like super open to present that project. That's like a very living, innovative kind of a cinema. So I think here we're rounding it up, and you can enjoy. I hope you enjoyed all the sounds that were accompanying and like little pieces from the movie. So feel free to contact us if you're inspired. That was episode about why you here. Soulful Podcast, Soulful Talks. And stay tuned for further episodes. Make sure you follow us on our social profiles, and let's keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
And take your note from Why Are You Here movie.
You can
go.
You can go directly to the Instagram of Why Are You Here film, Why Are You Here experience, and make a screenshot with your message.